Question number 78, our familiar flagpole question. We've seen this a number of times. Hopefully we're all comprehending this by now. Remember going outside and actually measuring the height of a pole using a mirror on the ground. 78 says, a student who is 68 inches tall. Now I'm going to tell you, this actually should be written a different way. We shouldn't be seeing inches tall. This number should represent how far are their eyes above the ground. So let's assume that. Let's assume this student has eyes which are 68 inches above the ground. Okay? This student wants to find the height of a flagpole. He places a mirror between himself and the pole and creates the diagram below. Using his sketch, find the height of the flagpole. We learned in class that by drawing this diagram, we can prove that these two triangles, the bigger one and the smaller one, are similar triangles because they have a congruent angle, 90 degrees here, and the angle on both sides of our mirror for those triangles are also congruent. So therefore, we can use a proportion and solve for h. Again, like the Mustang car problem, many of you are getting these answers wrong because you're writing your proportion incorrectly. There's a number of ways to do that. I'm going to use corresponding sides to set up our proportion. So let's take a look at our big triangle. In fact, I'll label this as B, so we just think of this as the big triangle, and I'm going to label this side as S to represent the small triangle. The bottom of our big triangle is 105 inches, and that corresponds to the bottom of our small triangle, which is 62. So I'm going to write my ratio, 105 inches over 62 inches. Now notice, class, that the top of this ratio comes from the big triangle. The bottom of this ratio comes from the small triangle. So my other ratio better have the same setup. It better use a measure from the big triangle on top and a measure of the small triangle on bottom. Well, look at our measure for our big triangle. We're looking for this side, which is h. So the measure we're looking for on the large triangle or the big triangle is h. The side that corresponds to that side on our small triangle is 68 inches. And I think the reason some of you are making a mistake here is because you're trying to look at the sizes of the sides of the triangle and matching those up. Remember, circle to circle, square to square, triangle to triangle. That doesn't work here because we don't know all three measures of both triangles. So this is setting up big and big on top, small and small on bottom. Let's go ahead and cross multiply. So we're going to have 68, oh sorry, I used the inches measurement over here. We can actually get rid of that and just write inches. So we keep consistent here. All right, let's cross multiply. We're going to have 68 inches times 105 inches is equal to 62 inches. 62 inches times x. And I'm again pressed for time. I'm going to hurry. Sorry, 62 inches times h. We can cancel out 2 of the inches because they show up on both sides. I can get rid of this one and get rid of this one. 68 times 105 is equal to 7,140. We still have a unit of measure here is inches. We couldn't cross that out. And on this side of our equation, we've got 62 times h. Now we're going to divide both sides by 62. And that's going to get our h value to be by itself. 62 cancels on the numerator and denominator of this side. Whoops, I canceled the h2. Don't want to do that. We end up with h is equal to, if you divide 7,140 by 62, you're going to end up with 115.16 inches. So in this case, the height of our flagpole is about 115.16 inches.